you mute my mic? Why'd you mute? Can you hear me? Greetings, greetings, greetings. Can you hear me, Giovanna Rogers? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can speak
Okay,
loud
I'm just
and
trying to
clear.
make sure. Oh my God, I'm here in the field. I'm in the field right now. I'm in the field. Tara Scott Brown, who's joining us.
Yay!
Tara told me that I need to be in the field. I'm here in the fields on Hilton Head. I'm in the field. I'm in the cornfield right now. So that's why I got to do labor in the fields today. I'm in the vineyard. I'm in the vineyard. Shonda McKeith and my sister, my Sarah, yeah, they got me in the field. Tara's hazing me right now. I'm in the field. And we, Giovanna Rogers, you got me in the fields too. That's why I'm in the field. And so the bulk of the conversation today, and Malik Jones will be joining us. Malik should be joining us. He's at work. So we are here. Ron, tell that. We're on Hilton Head Island in the fields. We're in the ATL. We're in Savannah. We're making things happen. And why are we here today? Oh, I got to share this with you all. Sometimes we talk about the old God and the new God. And we tend to act like the old God is based on age and that the new God is based on age. I tell folks, no, it ain't. It's all based on mentality. You have people in their 20s and their 30s who are part of the old God, who ain't about no change, who still trying to maintain the system for other people and for themselves and their types. And I tell folks, you have some who are the old, who are elders, who are more progressive than some of the younger people. So I go and say this right now. Some things have happened in Savannah, in Chatham County, and across this entire. But anyway, so with regards to that, we got things happening. We got things that are happening to us right now that's important for us to discuss. And so here go this new guard that they want to call themselves, that they're progressive. Ain't none of them said a thing about when the people got displaced out of Clearview apartments. Ain't none of them said nothing about the Weeping Town property. Ain't none of them said anything about the oppression, the violence going on in this city. Or at least we haven't heard anything from them. Their mouths have been just like this right here. So that's why I'm telling y'all right now. With me, don't come and tell me about the old God is based on some age. No, it's not. It's based on mentality. And some people that you think you got in positions right now, you better check it out and see whether they fall in either being the new God, progressive, or the old God who's still trying to maintain the status quo. So that's going to be about me doing what I'm doing right now. But we're going to turn over to our great leaders with regard to this. Tara Scott Brown got me on the field, and then Giovanna Rogers. And wow, where do we go from here? Where do we go from here right now?
Well, Jamal, can we first talk about the primary elections on yesterday? Can we talk about that?
Oh,
Please.
We had a lot of voters
either
or
one you say,
participants.
otherwise I need to come back in.
You can't hear me? Can you hear me, Javon?
I can hear you.
Okay.
He stepped out for a second, but keep going, keep going.
Okay. Um. Well, yesterday I was one of the poll watchers at Ralph Mark Gilbert, and quite a few voters came in upset, were turned away
Hmm.
because they could not vote. They found out they were at the wrong precinct. And after doing a little bit of research, we found out that um, the Civic Center voters and the voters who voted in the past at the courthouse, they were combined into one precinct that was moved to the Ralph Mark Gilbert. Um, a lot of them, and I saw one in particular. I saw her card because she brought her card with her. The card said that she was supposed to vote at the Civic Center, and there was no signage at the Civic Center telling them that the poll place was changed, and so they were quite upset. Um, we had people who came in almost at 7 o'clock that were at the wrong poll and were turned away, couldn't vote. And normally, if they come in late, they can vote using a provisional ballot. But they weren't given that opportunity. It was one guy in particular that came early. He came early in the day, found out that he was at the wrong precinct. They told him he had enough time to make it to his precinct. And he was saying that he had to go to work and they wouldn't provide him with a provisional ballot. And it's my understanding that you are supposed to provide them with a provisional ballot. Just to give everybody the opportunity. So we knew that some things were coming down the pipeline from our Secretary of State with the closing of these polls, the merging of these polls, but apparently our local board of electors or Chatham County Board of Election did not put out enough information in time to educate our voters, and that is a huge problem. And that was a problem on yesterday. I heard people complaining on the islands, on the south side, all across our county, all across Chatham County yesterday, complaining. So, and it's not just at the black polls, it was at the white polls as well. So, where do we go from here?
So from what it sounds like to me, I think this is one of those moments, and it's a Jesus, please comment and come in whenever you feel so. Yes. But I feel like this is one of those moments to where we depend on our government to give us these resources, and this is just one of those moments where I feel like they have failed the community, because now it's just up to us at this point to go out and make sure that people are getting the information.
Correct. And we elected these officials that run the Board of Elections, and they have a job. They only have one job, one job to do, and they could not get that right on yesterday.
And again, some of this is problematic for us, and it goes to some things that we've discussed. We talked about accountability. We discussed accountability. We talk about folks need to be held accountable, and we often see folks are not being held accountable, and that this lackluster attitude that they have regarding serving the people is a problem. Now, they are spectacular regarding serving themselves and with regards to their egos. They are spectacular about, and I in fact sat down and looked at some of them. I'm like, you not got that come up. You got that come up is for yourself and for your family. But what about the masses of the other people? What about the other people who are sitting in this venue right now? Right. Do they have the same? No, they do not. And so that's why I go and emphasize this point of saying that we get caught into about the old guard and the new guard and the middle guard. I'm not saying we need to stop looking at the ages. We need to look at the individuals and look at the mentalities. We got to overcome the mentalities. And we see this happen, just as you shared, that this affected Caucasians and African people, and I'll dare say Latinos and Asians also. But we now have to come together to thwart these people and be out there. And we got to have the voices out there. So that's what my thoughts are. Where do we go from here? It's like we have to really say that we talk about holding people accountable. We have to make sure we are holding people accountable from now on. And that is not anything personal, that this is real. So I'm like saying, hey, let's not get to it and let's be about the business and stop dividing ourselves up. Because when we divide ourselves up and say that it's men against women, women against men, it's young against old, that helps the enemies with regards to that. That's why I always tell people, we are all together. It's just that, just like in the family, you got the parents, you got the children. And again, all of them, they are a family unit and they're functioning together. But each one brings something to the table. But again, we don't go say this family is divided. That family is together. You mess with one, you mess with all. Some people go and say proudly. So I'm saying right now, that's we have to have that mentality that we're not divided, and don't let people promote that with regards to who we are. That's a part of my where do we go from here? Where we gonna go? We're gonna go to make sure that we are unified and on the front in the face of other people, but then we're gonna also hold folks accountable with regards to that. And if one person come at me, then I know I got my rest of my family coming also to aid me with regards to these efforts.
Tara, can you hear us?
Okay, yes, I can hear you now. I don't know what happened.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
But Jamal,
So,
this is one of the other. I don't know if you got to this piece, but one of the other things I observe, and the polls are supposed to open up at 7:00,
yes.
and if they don't open up at 7:00, you're supposed to add more time towards the end. And so
Yes,
this
ma'am.
poll, and this is other polls, didn't have machines working.
Yes, ma'am.
The scanner wasn't working for this particular precinct, and I was told that because they did not the scanner wasn't programmed for these two former polling places to they merged these two former these polling places, but it wasn't programmed to read those ballots. So the manager of the polling site had to take those ballots at the end of the night to the Board of Elections and have them to scan them from there. And so we hearing this, all of this, this people are being scared about their votes not counting, and then you have this kind of foolishness going on, because that's exactly what it was yesterday, foolishness. And so you have people who are running the polls do not have any skills in technology, because that's not what they're there for. And so we are expecting them to be able to operate these machines, plug them up, and this is all modern new technology. And we have a lot of older people who are poll managers and poll workers who are supposed to connect these machines and make sure that these devices are running properly. And that is too much. And you're saying to hold our Board of Election people accountable. It was an F. They got an F yesterday. Logistically, you should have been able to see all of this. You should have been able to see all of this. We cannot expect older people to know how to work these. I mean, they're not getting paid to be technologists at all. They're not computer savvy. A whole lot of them are not computer savvy. Even the ones who were supposed to come and figure out what was wrong with the scanner couldn't figure it out, supposedly. So the whole day, that scanner wasn't working. And at the end of the night, the poll managers are supposed to post the results on the door, and they
We can hear.
I was saying, where do we go from here?
Okay. That last part got out. I think we should start bringing more young people into volunteering for the polls some way, somehow, because I know I found myself in multiple instances where I'm helping out my older generation to understand these new electronics and how things are happening. So I think it's so important for us to get more involved in, like, actually putting the younger generation into volunteering into the polls and seeing how things work. That would definitely allow the younger generation to understand and know how important voting is within our community, and actually seeing what is going on in order to understand, okay, this is what needs to be fixed and this is how we can do it.
And I'll throw out there also that with regard to some of it that is volunteering for it. Some of it is actually, I mean, not volunteering, that it is actually tied to, oh shoot, sorry, I'm going to a graduation. That's what I'm just trying to get here. But what's going on is saying some people get it paid. So so that's an opportunity for people to get paid. And so I just want us to be responsible enough to like say, hey, don't always tell people to volunteer, but let folks get paid with regards to this and utilize those resources. And again, we are not utilizing the resources. And what you shared, Tara, that is a major issue there with regards to when you have people who went to go vote and were thwarted from voting, and then they don't even want to expand the time when you got devices not working. That's again, that should have been a brouhaha about that. It should have been a firestorm about that because that's not the first time it happened. It happened in previous elections that we had here, recent elections that we just had. So we have this issue that's an ongoing issue with regards to, again, not making the machines are not functioning. But then what happens, at least one time, they did go and extend the time. But that's why I'm like, we have to make sure that folks understand, like, no, we should not be accepting that. And so again, that determines whether somebody gets elected to office or not get elected to office. And I guess I'll add this element to it also, is that some people went and also discussed that they asked why would the turnout that occurred. I told folks that guess what? When you run for office, it's not just you running for office. It is also you got to have your people to come out to vote. You got to galvanize your people to vote. You got to get your people out to vote. It's not people may love your platform. They may like you, but if you don't get your platform out, I mean, if you don't get your people out to vote, that means that you can lose. So you got to galvanize your people to come out to vote. And that some people have failed to do that. And that's what occurred on yesterday. Some people failed to galvanize people. And I had asked a question of some of the people I was on the show last night. I say, what candidate galvanized the electorate to come out to vote on yesterday? Now, I'll say this, Tanya Howard Hall, she was out there. So at least she was able to get her people out there. But other folks, I say, they did not galvanize the people to come and vote for them.
Yeah. I was just wondering if we had more people that did absentee ballots. That's what I want to see.
Yeah, and that's reality.
Yeah, me and that's what I'm guessing that was the issue. But what we have to do for the general election is do exactly what you just said. We got to galvanize our people. If we can get them to early vote, we need to that's the best thing for me. We get these people out to early vote, and we got to take folks to I mean, literally go and to Yamacraw and Caton Homes and Fraser Homes. If we can get our churches together, use their resources to get people to the polls, it's vital. It's vital come November.
I'm gonna take this moment. We're gonna pause for a second. I'm gonna take this moment to welcome Malik Jones to our show tonight.
Hey, Malik.
Hey, how you all doing? It's an honor to be here. The honor to be invited on the show tonight. And it was some things that have already been said that are very key. Already from my point standpoint, I call myself the voice of the youth. I feel like right now in our community, there's no one really talking up for our youth. And you said something that was very, very important. Our young people have to get to these polls, work these polls, and understand the importance of voting. I actually work at the local ILA 1414, and I tell people all the time, we cannot sit here and complain about our everyday life, what goes on in our everyday life, if we are not registered to vote, and if we're not in a position to get out here and vote, and put the right people in a position so that we can hold them accountable. And another thing that Mr. Teray said, that's why I love him about accountability. And that's one of the main reasons why I'm actually getting ready to run for city council. Not just, calling people out, but everyone on city council, they use young people in crime as their platform. And I asked this question, who has receipts to back up investing into our young people? We have a $479 million budget for the year 2022. A community center was supposed to be built on the south side. Where is it? But we have an in-market arena. We have a civic center we could have remodeled. So it's just things like that that I am very in tune with in our community. And that's what my platform is going to be. That's what I'm going to be calling out. When is my time to run in this next political race? But again, the main thing that we're talking about right now, this topic is voting. And we understand that we have someone that's running the state of Georgia right now that plays a big role into what we're dealing with voting. We had a conflict of interest in the last primary election. There's no reason that and we all know in Georgia that Stacey Abrams won. We know.
Right.
There's no reason that Governor Kemp should have been able to even run with the position that he held.
Exactly.
We understand that. Again, the most important part is making sure that our people are educated on knowing that how much they vote really matter. Making sure that they're registered to vote. I'm talking to people now, even though I won't qualify until next August. My race will be next November, November 7th, 2023. But ask people now, are you registered to vote? If you're not, we have to have these people registered to vote. I looked at the previous election for city council and for mayor, about 25,000 people voted. It's way more than that in the city of Savannah. But I say that to say a lot of people don't vote because they don't know the candidate. When you don't know the candidate, why would you vote? So that's another thing. And that's the way I feel like, for me in this race that I'll have an advantage because one of the main people that I'm actually targeting is the unpopular votes. And I definitely want to see an increase in our young people voting. I'm talking 18 to 35. 18 to 35, I feel like are people that are not voting because they don't know the candidate.
I'm going to share this. So this is not just about voting. This is about where do we go. That's why we want to tell that. That's what we do. It's a range of things. Now, also, I'll say this. The majority of people who are registered voters in Chatham County and Savannah are African Americans. We're the majority. And so what it comes down to, and it's not just young people, what it is, that's why I'm trying to emphasize. And especially, Malik, you're going to run for office, you must galvanize anybody to vote for you. That's in and everywhere. You running for office. That's why I shared last night on Better Savannah. I said that what has happened is that this is actually from school elections to governmental elections. Guess what happens? Everybody might like you, but if they don't turn out to vote for you, and that's what it is. And that, again, you must galvanize the people, and that's what happens. We have not seen people to galvanize the people, so that's what occurs. People are not being galvanized and feeling that. And so, but that comes down to what we're talking about voter education, but it comes to education in general. It's about making people now feel empowered. I had shared with folks before, I shared in another place, I said, what is the greatest gang? What is the greatest gang in this country? What is the greatest gang in this country? It is the government. The government, no matter what anybody says, the government is the greatest gang. The government can kill you, they can take your property, and nothing happens to them. Nothing happens. And if they pay a settlement, guess what? The settlement is not coming from the government, it's coming from you, the taxpayers. The government is the greatest gang. So I tell people, so what should happen? If the government is the greatest gang, how do you become a part of the gang? By Malik and others, and like Tara has done, you run for office. That's how you become a part of it. When you become a part of that, you cannot effectuate the change. That is the greatest gang. But we don't understand that. But that's about, again, that's education. That's about having people not be empowered. Understand, like, wait a minute. When it comes down to it, even when they put you in jail, that's still a part of the gang. Your gang ain't greater than them because they got you in jail. They got you in prison. If you on parole or on probation, they got you. You behind on paying your property tax, they got you. That's the greatest gang. So we must understand about what power is. That is power. We have the ability right now, when we're the majority of the voting population right here, that we can take it over. But guess what? If I got your head so that way you don't feel like you're empowered, that you are strong, guess what? You feel beholden to everybody else. You think everybody else is better than you. You think the ice of somebody else is colder than your own ice, other people look like you. So that's a part of the mentality. I'm not saying we have to crucify that mentality and let people understand, like, yo, this is the way for us to get power, real power. That's what it's about. And as I say, how can we get some real power? Some people get real power. Galvanize your people to get out to vote. It doesn't matter about age, religion, gender, sexual orientation. Get them out to vote, and you got power. And not playing no game about it. And then also, you not make sure you report back and talk to them and let them know. So, because what happened, we have trained people that this is what happened, that it ain't important for me to vote until the presidential election. Tara Scott Brown, you said last night to me, she said, but yeah, because I got my people calling in on me at this graduation. But it is time for us to now step up to the plate and not educate and inform and enlighten the people. And then let them begin to understand what power is. Because you disenfranchise the people intentionally. This is not accidental. All that is done to discourage people from intentionally seeking power. I'm about, we must have power. Not playing about power. We must be about power.
So with being about power and knowing about power, this is like a great segue into another topic that I wanted to bring up, because within our community, we talk about how they have older people, helping out at the polls, and they don't understand how to work things, and they need the younger people to get in there as well. And with power, I believe, comes with unity, right? So with unity, we're trying to figure out, how do we come together with the new generation and older generation? So how can we do that?
I think the biggest thing is the resistance, the change. We talk about joining the NAACP, our local NAACP organization. A lot of people want to join, but then when they join, it's like you're shunned, not allowed to talk. Especially during this COVID period, they had meetings, virtual meetings, and it would be in a webinar format. And I mean, you just weren't allowed to talk, ask questions or whatever. We have, and I'm considered middle aged now, but I still say that I'm young.
Mm-hmm.
We have ideas that we want to bring to the table to help the organization move forward, stay effective in the community. There are so many things that our local NAACP office should be doing at this time that we're not seeing. And just like Jamal just said, if anyone should be galvanizing the vote, be the NAACP. And I can't say we've been seeing them. So
I can't say we have either. I've never thought about that.
And all other organizations that talk about how important voting is, all other institutions. So, but I'm going to ask the question and throw it out to y'all. So, how does, because, and again, man, I'm throwing it out there because we do have people who are insane. I'm just being frank and upfront. People who are insane. Because, see, when you come on Run Tell That, that's how we roll. We keep it real. We don't mince no words about nothing. There are people who are insane, who are some of your friends, some of your family members, some of your classmates, some of your church members, some of your community members, who go and say that having political power doesn't matter, that voting doesn't matter. And that's a part of that insanity, and that's some misinformation that we get from social media, and we get from people who are on TikTok and all other craziness like that. We have people telling this type of insanity. So, but I'm going to ask you all and put it out there, because again, we want the audience, for folks to Run Tell That family. We say share, share, share. We want y'all to share this right here.
Mm-hmm.
How does politics affect you all? Because we have people saying politics is not involved in anything. I'm like, I want to get your thoughts. How does politics affect us? I'm telling you, your everyday life, how does politics affect you?
That's okay. So I know for me, politics literally affects any and everything that has to do with me, from my school system, from me just as a woman. If we look and see today with the Roe versus Wade, they're trying to overturn Roe versus Wade and take away my rights Tara Scott Brown's rights.
Yes.
They try to take away my rights. And then the fact is they were trying to hide it. It was leaked. Nobody would have known. We just would have woke up the next morning and we would have found out that's a law. And we would have been like, what? Where did this come from? But if we're not involved, we would never know. If we're not involved and we don't vote in the right people who's going to take care of us and take care of our communities, then everything that deals with us is just going to end up falling apart.
I totally agree. Every aspect of our lives is really affected by politics. We would hope it wouldn't, but it does. And so that's why we have to make sure that we have the right people in place. We have to elect the right people that's going to look out for the people and not just a few people.
What's your thoughts on that, Malik?
I definitely agree with what everyone is saying. Voting and electing the right people definitely affects our everyday life. And it's something that you all said was most people are trained to thinking that only the presidential election is what really matter. It's not. Your local elections definitely matter just as important as your primary elections as well, because more so you're going to be more affected by your local officials that you vote for than so much the president. Because again, it goes back to what I'm saying. I said the city council meeting is a lot of money in the city of Savannah. A lot of money in the city of Savannah. But where is that money going? Where is that money being spent on? And those are taxpayer dollars that we pay into. So why are we not included at the round tables of where this money is being spent? Why are our children not being included in some of these round talks? So one of the biggest things about me is just to see everybody on city council talk about youth, but who is out here in the community asking these kids what they want? Who is having conversations with these kids? You cannot just sit and come on television every other Thursday and go into schools and go up in events and put on your little suits and eat your little stuff and take photos with these kids. You have to build a relationship with these kids, okay? And I'm not just talking about city council. I'm talking about our police chief. I'm talking about people that are in position to make things happen. But every time something go on in our community, something go back, oh, we need to do this, we need to do that. We have meetings and all these things in our community, but nobody is actually really taking action. Back to what we were saying, voting is very important.
Mm-hmm.
Voting is so important. And this Roe versus Wade thing is that is so crazy. And even on the ballot yesterday, one of the things that I saw, and I asked a question, I saw them talking about legalizing marijuana. That'll bring so much money to our community. $1 billion in taxes a year or more. A lot of people don't know the back scoop of what it will actually take for them to do it. They don't know that our roads will have to be done over. It's just a lot of things that go in, but a lot of people should have voted yes. It's not fair that you can travel outside the state of Georgia, okay, and go different places and legally possess marijuana. But you, in a state where you pay taxes at, and you can't legally possess marijuana. That is one of the quickest ways, the first step to criminal justice reform, legalizing marijuana in the state of Georgia. That's going to help with a lot of people that are incarcerated just because they had a large amount of marijuana. And again, when we're not educated, we don't understand the importance of voting. We don't even go to the polls to even know that that is a question on the ballot, just like the pre-K program, pre-K funding for our kids. Without having the knowledge to vote, we don't know what's on our ballots to be able to vote on, to voice our opinion on. But we'll sit here and we'll get on social media and we'll complain about everything that goes on in our community, everything that goes on in the world. And piggyback on something that you said too, Mr. Ray, and that's one of my things that I have a problem with our African-American people. Everybody want to be rappers, basketball players, and everything in the entertainment industry. But we need more doctors, we need more politicians, we need more attorneys. That is how we make change. That is how we're going to be able to make America great. We have to come together. And we definitely have to stop influencing our kids to be, oh, yeah, just we're going to go. No, read some laws. Read some laws. Understand what laws is. Understand the law. Understand what are some things that you need to do if you are pulled over by police that we don't know about. We don't have a lot of lawyers in our family. We don't have access to lawyers. We don't have access to proper representation. A lot of our young people or African-American people go in the courtroom, take pleas, just not even knowing that if you really knew the law, they could not find you guilty. But when you take this plea deal, only thing you're doing is giving them what they want. They're silencing you. Because you take a plea deal on a felony offense, you have no voice in the community. You will not be able to vote. You will not be able to bear arms. But we don't have that education. We don't have those resources close to us in our African-American community, and it's our fault. You said something earlier, and it's the government is the biggest gang in America. We have to join the gang. The only way we're going to see change.
Yeah, absolutely. And politics affects us with regards to 19 odd people, 20 odd people being killed yesterday in Texas. Government affects us with regards to if you are driving down the street. Politics affects us with regards to if you don't have any baby formula. Politics affects us with regards to us, standing up and speaking out for rights of people. That every aspect of your life, every second of your life is affected by, even when you die, you are impacted by politics. So again, that's why we have to now begin letting our people understand the importance of this, that how we have to engage, we have to be a part of, and that it is open for anyone at any level. It does not matter if you have a high school education or GED, or you have no high school diploma, or if you got trillions of degrees. It doesn't matter. That again, it doesn't matter if you are impoverished or if you are wealthy. That again, you have the power to go and exercise, and you must be about that. That is one of the ways that we can basically effectuate and bring about a better society and community. And with us on the local level, that hits us even harder on the local level, even with regards to your gas tax. That again, the people that you put in office on the state who go to the state, they also play a role with regards to all this too, with regards to influencing your governor, with regards to how to function. So we need to now begin getting our people because, I need to go and say this. A lot of us like to front. We front. And why I say we front as if we're all of that. But when some of us decide not to get involved in this game that we call with regards to government and how government operates, that because we are oppressed, we in turn, what happens, we in turn go and say, my vote doesn't matter. That's really tied to oppression. That's oppressed thinking, because you are so doggone oppressed that the oppressor done got your mind like that. That's why I say some of us feel beholden to other people. When I'm by saying, when you are a liberated person, you say, no, you go forward. You seize the opportunity. You seize the moment. And a lot of times we are so afraid because we think about how other people feel about us. Do you think I give a doggone about how some people feel about me? People see me on the street. People know that I will scream and yell at them on the streets. Do you think I'm concerned about that? No, I'm not concerned about that, because I'm like saying, yo, if you can do something for me, then do something for me. If you can't do nothing for me, yeah, I was yell and scream. Like if you're not going to dangle some carrot, this fake carrot in my face and make me say, I need to act like that. No, if I want to yell and scream, I will do that. It's about not having any fear. I tell people constantly, I say, you have no fear of man or woman. You love God. When you love God, you don't have no fear of people. You go forward with regards to that. Because I had someone contact me even this morning. And they are a young officer, and they were like saying they were just taken back by what happened in Texas on yesterday. And they talk about this world we live in. And I told them, I said, well, I shared with them this morning. I said, listen here. I said, that's why we do what we do. We now go about trying to change the life of some person, so at least one person, because that one person can change the entire world. That's what we do, what we do. We take action to change this world. And I said, that's your job right there, to change the world, that you can impact someone. And guess what? If you don't impact the person, I mean, by them to changing the world,
You can be the person that changed the world. But you got to understand that. And so that's what I'm saying. Where do we go from here? It's about us now understanding that, listen, you ain't got to look at Spider-Man on TV or in the movies. You need to turn around, look at yourself in the mirror and say that I am a superhero. I am a superhero. I can bring about change. And the change could be one person, two people, it could be 1,000 people, but I can be the change. I can make this happen. I can change this world for the better.
I definitely agree. I know Malik stated before that, you know, a lot of African Americans see themselves as just, you know, wanting to be, you know, rappers, or wanting to be, you know, NFL players or sport players. In a way, I don't see anything wrong with that. It's about how you use that platform that matters the most. Because see, I am an actor, I'm a singer, I want to be in film. But see, I just don't want to be an actor just to be in somebody's film. I want to be that person to make the films, so that, you know, young kids can see themselves as those Spider-Mans, as those superheroes, as those politicians that they can want to be, because it's all visual when it comes to the younger generation. If they don't see it, they don't believe it. And then it takes us to say, hey, you know, you can be this, you know, you can be that. So it's about how we use that platform and how we teach them to use that platform in order for them to fight for their rights, in order for them to understand what's going on. Because I didn't know about the Central Park 5 until the Netflix movie came out. I didn't know about the 13th Amendment till 13th came out. And I was like a young teenager then at that time. You know, so it's just about how you use that platform.
And so I thought that you all discuss and say that folks want to be athletes and want to be entertainers, but then also, well, there are actors and actresses with regards to that, but musicians, but then I'm going to say there's one y'all didn't throw out there is also being strippers. Also, because look at, again, that's something that is put out there for us to be strippers. And so, and we look at that and we feel that soothes some of our egos, that soothes some of our souls. And so again, but we become all of that because we've seen that is the only out that we have. And that comes down to a system that has put us in positions like that, not to be stellar with regards to in some other areas of being because you're basically an entrepreneur, you know about marketing, you know how to market. So again, you can be that person that's running a $1 million corporation with regard, because you got the ideas and the thoughts, but they minimize it just to that one level right there, and then we glorify that and make it seem like it's okay, and then get mad when somebody call you out about it and say, yo, you know, like, yo, that you're more than a stripper, you're more than a dealer, you're more than that. That you got the ability to do some other things, but then still, yes, some of them still afraid with regard to that. And that's why I say about us having a heart. I tell folks, it's about having a heart. It's about having a heart. It's not about you having your mouth. It's about you having some heart and then having some action behind it. I tell folks, I'm not concerned about people with regards to their egos and them running their mouths. I want to see the action. That's what I talk about. And I throw it out there now. The people know me also. Y'all heard me. Some people out the run telling heard me say that where I grew up, Savannah and Hilton Head, like I'm in Hilton Head right now. My family ain't never quote no scriptures to me. They ain't never quote no scripture. They ain't telling me about no scripture. You know why they ain't telling me about no scripture? Because they lived it. As opposed to talking it to me. That's why I don't even know scripture. I don't even get caught up. I understand about the action of your work, how you function. And I said, for me, that was more powerful because, again, my mom and my grandmama and the man had to quote no scripture to us. It's like they manifested and lived it. That's what, for myself today, that's what I'm saying. I had to live what I say I'm about. But see, some of us are so afraid with regards to that, we go and live based on how other people are going to perceive us. Mm-hmm. But I'm like saying, the same ones that you think, how they're going to perceive you right now, 20 years from now, they change. That's why I'm like, look at some of the people, 10 years from now, they change. 5 years from now, they change. Or when they caught up. Because again, and I was going to say this just regarding some folks who get engaged in illegal activity. Y'all might go and do some stuff for somebody because y'all said that was the kingpin. But guess what? When that kingpin now has the opportunity that now go and snitch because he told y'all not to snitch, he will snitch on y'all. But y'all was caught up into their world. I'm like saying stop. That's why I say it's about being a man and being a woman. A man and woman have no fear of another man and a woman.
I agree.
I definitely agree on what you all said, and to piggyback on that, and that's one of the reasons why I'm into motivational speaking, life coaching, and things of that nature, because you have to be the change that you want to see. So when I was living an at-risk lifestyle, when I was, like some of the same young people that we talk about every day, I had to see something different. I had to be exposed to something different. Once I was exposed to something different, I'm like, okay, well, this is not the life that I really want, and that's when I began to started to make change. And I had to start myself first. Like DeRay said earlier, a lot of people are fake and phony. A lot of people feel like, they poop those things, and they're better than other people. And one of the things that I tell young people all the time, or people in general, like, I'm not up here just talking to you like my life is perfect. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm still going through things. I still do things. I'm not 100%. Like, I'm not 100%. And that is very key, that we are definitely superheroes in our own ways. But we have to identify it within ourselves. And we have to want to actually be change. Definitely want to be the change. We definitely have to start ourselves to be the change that we want to see before we are able to put ourselves out to say, oh, change. And the biggest thing that we are talking about here is taking action to change the world. That is key. That is key to being successful. That is key to taking our communities back. That is key to reaching dreams, goals, whatever it is. Taking action. We can sit and meet all day. We can have 100,000 meetings, coming up with solutions to problems. But if we don't take action, we're going to continue to meet. The world's going to continue to go downhill, as we already seeing. There's no reason we should have all these mass shootings. And I saw a post on social media earlier. This one firearm is used in every mass shooting. 22 mass shootings, an AR-15 rifle was used. These AR-15s are traveling through state lines, multiple state lines, to get to destinations. We have to do something about that. Me personally, like Stacey Abrams say, Governor Kemp don't care nothing about the state of Georgia. How would you, we already have the open carry law, but why would you pass a bill to have guns everywhere? And another thing is, we cannot wait till something get close to our home to want to take actions. We see this going on around the world. And I hate to say this, because I know life and death lies in the power of the tongue, but, it's not too much longer before we hitting closer and closer and closer to our home. So that's why we have to do something now. We have to definitely get out and put the right people in position. We got to get Stacey Abrams in office to overturn a lot of the stuff that Governor Kemp has done in the state of Georgia to kind of, make it what he wanted to make it, and that's we can't have that. We can't have those type of leaders in position. So definitely got to take action to change the world, as Mr. DeRay said, and be the change that we want to see, because we all are superheroes in our own patterns and journeys in life. And that's what we definitely have to do. Step up and take the action that's needed. It's not going to be easy, but with a collaborative effort, with a lot of like-minded people wanting to take action, it can definitely be done.
And I'll share this with the audience, the Run Tell That family. Malik told me in class one day, he says, "Shut up, El Stupido. El Stupido, shut up, El Stupido." And I was shattered in the classroom. Malik said that to me. I was crestfallen. People said I was crestfallen. And the only thing that saved me was the fact that his mom and his brother said, "Jamal is okay," because he was coming back. He was about to come whip my behind. He was going to come at me in the class in room 115. He was going to do that. "Shut up, El Stupido." I was like, okay. I was fun. Then Javonna Rogers, she going to tell me she was going to cut me at a public function because she didn't like how I had sat next to her mama, because no other seats were inside the place. So Javonna Rogers said she was going to cut me. So, and again, I was like, oh my God. I was like, there was no other seat. I just sit by your mother. I'm like, oh my God. So I'm just sharing it with y'all. So these are the people that you got on here. They have reformed. They have done a 180 from where they were. Javon is no longer, she no longer has knives and anything like razors, anything like that. So
Right,
now
my
y'all
mama
see
got
how.
no knives. Mm-hmm.
and so Malik now again motivational speaker, and so he's making things happen. But he associated with somebody by the name of Rodine Green. Rodine ain't no good, even though he's a police officer and he's one of my heroes. But he ain't no good. You can tell him I said that too. Yeah.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
But and see, and I tell people this, all of what Keisha Carter said, that I could be serious at one moment, and the next thing is I just flip the script just like that. And so that's why I'm like saying that's about being secure in self. That's what I'm saying, and that's why I want all of us to understand where we have to go from here. And this is a part of my thought is that we have to be secure in self, and a lot of us are not secure in self. And that's what regard to whatever you do, you have to be secure in self and not be some ideologues. And someone who I tried to tell, I say, speak from your heart, speak from your heart. And they didn't do it because they let other people guide them. I'm looking at them like, you can change this world, but if you speak from the heart, as opposed to being guided by these other people.
Mm-hmm. That's one thing I will say I definitely learned from even taking a class with you. Literally, my whole semester and my mindset shifted. And it caused, once people have people like Torre in their lives, their mindset starts to shift. And then they notice the people around them. And next thing you know, movement starts to shift as well. And it's really crazy. It really is, because people can either take something from it or just let it go in one ear and out the other. But when you take something from it, literally everything will shift, from your movements to how you think, from who you hang around with, from literally everything and anything. So I'm gonna take these last few minutes to tell you thank you so much. This is the nicest thing you will ever get from me after I graduate, because you a Nancy. That's what you are. You a Nancy. A Nancy.
So I kind of have the same experience with Mr. Teray. What he did not tell you is that my mom took his class, my brothers took his class, so I had no choice but to take his class. During scheduling time, my brother's like, Jason's just like, bro, you got to take this class. Like, you got to take this class. Like, you have to take this class. And I kid you not, I just told John Bush the first day of class, I'm like, oh, this guy is freaking crazy. Like, the first 4 words he put on the board, we're in class, and we're just like, and nobody wanted to say anything. And when he just split up, like, he was all jokey. He's like, oh, okay. So y'all want to use these same words every day in your own community against your brothers and sisters, dehumanize each other, and you can't tell me what you mean when you're saying these words to each other? Everybody pull out a piece of paper right now and start, oh, we mean it, and we mean it. Oh, okay. So, like, he know how to get you motivated and active about creating change and understanding, most importantly, who you are and how powerful you are and how powerful the people before you were, and to not let that die. I was able to really definitely learn a lot within my semester in Mr. Teray class, more so about myself, but more so about my African American history, studies, and culture. And that is needed. We are kings. We're not niggers. We're kings and queens, and we have to realize that. We have to identify that. But we need people like Teray to come into our life, like you said, and to motivate us and to make us understand that you're not a nigger, you're not a hoe, you're not the B, you're not this. You are a king and you're a queen. But when you call yourself that, that's what you act like. So now that's all you're thinking of. You're thinking of acting like a nigga. You're thinking of acting like a you know what. But when you come in, you're like, oh, I'm a king. I can't, you know what I'm saying? And it's crazy because my name, Malik, actually means king. So everybody's like, bro, someone DM'd me the other day was like, man, you should run for mayor or get into politics. Like, your name means king and ruler. And I just sent them back to laughing emoji. Like, what's funny? I'm just like, it's crazy because I post a snippet pic of me in the suit and with the quote on it, and that really was a teaser, like, I'm running for city council, you know what I'm saying? Like, so it was just crazy how things like that come together. But when you understand the meaning of and the roots of where you come from, you can understand where you headed better. So you always want to move forward. And so, like, I thank you, Ms. Teray, for coming to my life, and I'm glad I listened to my brother, my mom, to actually come to Savannah State and to take your class. Like, it was very meaningful, and again, it opened up my mindset to definitely want to influence my younger brothers and sisters, and even some of the older ones that I can touch and reach, to let them understand that they're kings and queens. And if anybody call you anything less than, don't adhere to it. You know what I'm saying? And you let them know, like, that's not me. Just like what I tell young people or people all the time, like, when someone try to place their limitations on you, like, don't place your limitations on me, because it took you 5-6 years to get wherever you are. It may not take me the same. And that's why we have people in our life like Teray, you all doing things like this, because together we can make change.
Yes, indeed, and that's why I tell folks that actually it's just we just planting seeds, and y'all take it to another level. That each one of you take it to another level. Yeah, and that's for us to marvel at that. For me to watch and laugh and smile and say, yeah, that's it. Because just like Javonna, what she's saying, I'm like saying, okay, that's Paul Robeson. Paul Robeson, singer, actor, but also was a person who fought for his people. So again, that's Paul Robeson. Malik with regards to saying, hey, I'm going to touch the people. And Malik saying, hey, when people come to town, I got to be there with them. I got to talk to them. And that, again, that's that drive. That's that determination. That's the same thing that we take it to, because life is a relay race. Life for all, and that life, I'm not talking about your own individual life, it's the life of our people collectively, is a relay race. And so that's why I pass the baton on to other people to take it to another level. And if you all think pass on to other people too, and just take it to another, and we'll ultimately have liberation, because that's what each one of us are, a cog in a machine to bring about liberation for our people. And guess what? We're going to have victories along the way, but that's to get us to that point. And so that's what we have to be dedicated to. And so now I'm going to say this right here, because I know how it is, because Run Tell That is the little brother show of the ATR network, the Our Black Media Network. So Malik, you got 30 seconds to give a word of inspiration to me. 30 seconds, because otherwise that Javonna, who's one of the new producers of ATR, she's going to cut the whole show off. She's going to cut the whole show off. You got 30 seconds, Malik.
All right. So my famous quote that I always tell people is, invest in yourself until they have no choice but to invest in you. So no matter what it is in life, no matter what it is you're trying to achieve, you always have to take those first steps to show people that, hey, I really want to do this. And that's why you must invest in yourself until they have no choice but to invest in you. People are more likely to invest a already established goal, business, or plan versus the startup. And that's inspired by Malik.
Inspired by Malik. So I know Javonna about to cut us off. She about to cut us off. Yeah, Run Tell That family. We say share. Glad to have y'all. Glad to have Malik, have Javonna, and our sister Tara Scott Brown, who's doing the work in the community, doing it all the time. So again, I ain't gonna say no more, because I know I'm about to be cut off.
I like that.